Hello everyone, greetings and welcome. Yes, I thought to do a post-show video just because this is important for me to record for my blog purposes, I suppose. And I thought you might be interested in how I got on. So yes, obviously this was my first time taking anything to a show as an exhibitor. For a model railway. I'd previously done a model aircraft show when I was briefly associated with a model group, but basically ended when I was told I've got off lightly. The next time I come, expect a lot more Mickey taking. And I said, what for? And the response was, oh no real reason, just it's like no, that's called bullying in my book. So if I glue the pilot to the wing facing backwards, yeah, by all means take the mick. If I do something that is just monumentally stick a paintbrush to my nose or something, if I do something worth taking the mickey out of, that's fine. But that's why there's a brief thing anyway. That's not what this video is about. So light is a bit low. I did ponder about putting light on, but it's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so hey. But yeah, so first time taking a layout to an exhibition, and obviously, as some of you know, I've had some not so nice comments made in the past about the Japanese stuff, not so nice incidents, shall we say, about it in the past. And yes, going to the NEC show last weekend and seeing that and talking to the operator of that one, and finding out what they get really helped quite a lot. Still was Friday night, really was quite stressed out, I think. I can't remember Friday that well. Friday evening that well. Then coming into Saturday morning, really nervous. Didn't have the greatest trip over. Yeah, country road up and down and round and big hedges, and someone tries to overtake a lorry going the other way. It's a 60-mile-an-hour road I was around at this point. I'm just so glad that I had my wits about me and was able to slow down enough to give them just enough gap to complete their foolish manoeuvre. Otherwise, I said to someone I spoke to later on that I was eyeing up the hedge to see how soft it looked comparative to 120-mile head-on collision. Well, it wouldn't have been 120 mile an hour because I was already braking, but suffice to say, the horn got some use. But anyway, yeah, so that was like, oh my god, this is not helping my nerves, and I nearly considered turning around at that point, but at that point I was, 10-15 minutes away from the place. So I thought, look, you've got an hour's journey home again to sit with feeling like this. You might as well carry on at this point. Just see how you get. I'm sure they'll understand if you go, look, sorry, because there was the setup time from like 8:30 till when they opened about 11:15, I think it was. 10 o'clock, 11:15. There's plenty of time to sort of settle a bit and then go, do you know what, no, sorry, I can't, and then you're out of the way before people start turning up. So, I thought, yeah, you can do that. So, anyway, excuse me. Got there, bumped into a lovely chap almost immediately, Martin, who was going to be next to me for the weekend, and he has an engaged layout that I'm sure many of you will know at least one of his layouts, which is the half and half with the winter and summer, was it, layout. This one, it's got all sorts of lovely lights on it, different colours, and yeah, tell you what, there's going to be, I'm hoping, I've only seen one video up from the show, but you'll know the one I mean if you see it on another thing. It's wonderful. He's engaged as well, DCC, and yeah, we had a chat. I said it out for the time, and he kept coming on. He checked on me quite regularly. There was a lovely guy from the Swindon club who came over and in that first morning had a chat with me, and again was so encouraging. And I've actually been told to contact their exhibition manager, but they've both given recommendations for getting the layout onto the show circuit a bit more, which is a lot more, which is amazing, because that is ultimately how I've come out the other end of this. Is obviously I did stick around, got the trains running, buildings were out, because we're in true Japanese fashion in a minute. Everything's glued down. It will be eventually. I mean, the platforms I could have done a while ago, but I want to work out, because I've got extra sets. I want to work out where I want different pieces, because some of them have holes in. Some of the pieces have holes in for running in boards and seats and that sort of thing. So, in case you didn't know, that's what station name boards are actually called, is running in boards. The more you know. I didn't until recently. Yeah, I've got the trains running. Did a bit of a try and G myself up. I had a flatbed wagon next to me, railway wagon next to me, and I put my phone on there and took a picture. You know, it's probably the thumbnail for this video. I will make it that actually now. Bit of G myself up, and I sent that around to a few friends and family and that, and so I'm ready to go. And yeah, I felt a lot better than at that time. So yeah, a bacon sandwich had been brought round, and yeah, and once the public came in, it really was a case of it got easier as we went on. You know, it's you know, just saying, you know, oh, sorry for the appearance, it's only 2 weeks old, or 2 weeks ago it didn't exist. You know, the original one didn't want to play, so I left it at home so I could think about what it's done. I mean, that's actually gone. That layout is actually gone. It's history. Which is kind of sad in a way, but a couple of buildings are here. I mean, also then there's the joke, because a couple of the buildings it was a winter layout, so a couple of the buildings are snow covered slightly. I've scraped those off, never got around to painting the roofs on those. That's a job to be done. But sort of like, yeah, there's a freak snowstorm in that one area. They must have upset the kami, which is a bit silly when they've got a shrine just down the road. They could have quite easily, you know, it's not far for them to go to appease the kami, but to you know, just pray and remember them. But hey, or maybe it's the ice cream season and the kami are blessing them with a cold building to keep the ice cream cool. I don't know. But yes, so you know, some jokes were made there. No adverse comments. No adverse comments. Few people just sort of glance at it and walk on. You can't force people to stop, you know. And it's not. I know it's not stuff against me. It's fine. Because what made it worth it for me was, I don't know if it's a thing worldwide, but certainly here in the UK, especially for autism, I think it is. But I think just, you know, neurodivergency in particular, there's lots of people that wear the sunflower lanyards, and there's lots of children and adults who absolutely loved it, who were wearing these lanyards, and I thought, yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And there's one little boy, mum and grandma had to hold his hand, and he was just jumping up and down, so excited, and he loved it. They kept having to bring him back because it was apparently it was his favourite one. Brilliant. So that's two things that I'm definitely proud of are those, and I found that is now the ideal height for my layout, is sort of this level that you're at now. It's actually a bit lower than that, because also wheelchair users can see it really easily. I had absolutely zero problems with any children or anyone trying to grab something. They were okay. There were a couple of times a hand went forwards, but parents or, you know, carers were very quick to sort of, no, don't touch. And then in a couple of those circumstances, I said, here we go. You know, and that then puts the onus on me. If they drop it, I gave it to them. It's not it's not no longer their fault. And one of them, the parent guardian carer, held it closer for them to see, you know, and it was really nice. Thomas was a big hit. Thomas's Japanese cousin. Someone did call it a curse Thomas, and anything that wasn't an E2 is a curse Thomas. And I said, well, of course, the original wooden model that was made was more like a J50, and that's the one the Reverend actually made. So I said, is everyone that's not an E2 a curse Thomas? If you think about it that way, and, I shall have to ponder this, and moved away. And I said, no, yeah, something to think about. Yeah, you know, and then he moved away. But yeah, it's, you know, again, it wasn't taken as a snub. I didn't retort in a, oh, I think you're fine. No, it was just, but had you considered? You know, keeping it in fun, and that was the main thing. The other thing I found actually is the next shows, there won't be so much steam coming with me. I ran 2 eras, if you like, each day. Saturday was a more modern image one, and Sunday I thought I'll bring more steam trains with me, more things of the older era with me, and they definitely weren't as popular on the Sunday. Sunday Thomas got a lot of running because he was bright. I should have left the Kiku 32 on the track a lot more because that's bright red with the white stripe, but yeah, definitely not as popular. But then again, when you're walking around an exhibition, especially one in the UK, again it comes back to that thing of it's greys, blacks, browns, dark green even, you know. I love the Great Western, but you know, it's very similar colour palette all round, and that's something I had on the Saturday a lot more, was a different colour palette to play with and to show. Whereas then on the Sunday I was blending in with that because I had black steam engines, I brown it, you know, the grape livery on the electrics and so on. So yes, and of course an honourable mention must go to my fine chum Greg, who turned up and brought his Cato Small England and 2 Linton and Barstow coaches. We had that go around the inner loop. We had to move this platform back, we found, because the coaches and the loco didn't agree with the platform, but that was nice to see him, nice for him to bring that over. And also once the station's glued in, you know, it won't be possible. So possibly was the only one at any time that that will run on here. But yeah, like I say, overall a very, very positive experience, and a lot of things learned, but also a lot of things that weren't to learn, and it was more about being presentable for the public for me than anything else, and you know, just making sure that anyone who did stop at the layout got the best experience they could out of it. You know, any questions, please ask. I might struggle with the capital of art of Mongolia. But yeah, you know, that sort of thing. And a big one was the bullet trains, and I was really glad I made that sign about why no bullet trains. Now, of course, you know, I've banged on about that on here enough times, but it is people's only real knowledge. And some people used to ask me, you know, some people ask me, why did you get Japanese and what led you to this, and I'd tell them, and I'd say, you know, that show at Railway Circle was the first thing that opened my mind to the fact there were more than just the bullet trains, and it's not something that a lot of people think about. And to be quite honest with you now, you know, yes, there's all these here. I'd have been totally unaware of them had I not gone down this route. So yes, thank you to Teacup, Greg, in no particular order, obviously. Teacup, Greg, Brian, Finishing Central, for saying hello, and for the ice cream. I'll thank you again for the ice cream if you're in the stream later on. But also to Martin, the chap whose name I didn't get from the Swindon Club. I don't know, is it Swindon Cricket Club or is it just Swindon Railway Club? But yeah, those two. There was a lad from the layout round the corner whose name I didn't get either, but he stopped and we chatted quite a bit early on as well, and sort of, you know, when we saw each other, sort of caught up quickly. And Andy in particular from Welham Hill, that layout, and the superb chat about aviation we had and various veterans we met and things like that. Yes, that, you know, it's all, and the, you know, some of the other people I had chats to after the show, that's the only, my own disappointment was not being able to have a good wander around and a good say hello to everyone, as many people as I could, and of course the lovely German fellow from the Kulturbahn layout, which was gorgeous, utterly gorgeous layout that was. I mean, there were so many gorgeous layouts there. That one did the way it was different to the eye. It was a very thin, really sort of very thin corridor of a layout, almost it looked, and the train sort of would wind its way through. I didn't actually see a train running, but I see the track, you know. But no, very, very good. So what would I change? Well, obviously, now I know. Now, take the modern image running session is clearly the way forwards, with providing that real difference. It doesn't mean no steam at all, because SL Yamaguchi ran, the SL Hitayoshi ran, so the 8620 and D51-200 both ran, and they caught their own bits of attention, which is good. Obviously, I've got the is it the Bananetsu? Is that his name? But it's the C57-180 set to Hortake. I know I can take the one with the blue coaches for JR East. And I have C6120, sorry, D51 495. Yeah, common brain. And the C6160 can also pull those. So, you know, there's options for steam still within that, which is really good on some Heritage Electrics as well, such as the, I mean, it's not going to quite a taste, but it's quite a different thing. But again, that's the Streamlined Electric I've got. It's going to be an EF something. I can't remember its blasted designation. But is it? 1 minute. Just see if we can spot it quickly. It's not the 851. The 55. That's it, it's the 55. It's got sort of like a streamlined front to it. We'll leave that box there for now. I'll have it running later in the stream. There we go. We'll run that one later. But I know that's running in preservation as well, so, you know, there's some trains I can create there. But yeah, bring mostly modern stuff. That's one thing. Second thing, it'd be great to have someone else to go with. Obviously, that's down to their availability, so I can go and have a look around. But yeah, and the only other thing is to have some sort of dressing for the front of it, so that we can cover up the table a bit more as well. I was going to have a big Japanese flag. Mum seems to not think that was such a great idea, and was suggesting some sort of artwork or something. So yeah, I'm going to see if the Sakura Dentra logo, if I can persuade someone or something to add, maybe get Sakurai to hold a Japanese flag or something, just so I've got something relating to Japan. I don't know what, I've seen plenty of with big flags for the country they're representing on the front. I'm not sure what the problem would be, but you know, now it's got me nervous. It's been, in fact, it's been suggested otherwise, so yeah, we'll see. And it would also be kind of cool to have the layout name on it as well, my name. So that works in that regard. So yes, basically I'm going to ask Copilot to see if it can add. Can you add a flag to the hand of the mate of the person in this picture? see what it comes up with. But yeah, but yeah, so that's largely it. So I did take a couple of pictures and a couple of videos, and they're going to follow. Thanks for seeing through 20 minutes of this, but obviously I needed to get all my thoughts on pretty quickly. And for those who are coming later on, I'll see you in the stream. Till then, sayonara.
Pull that off.